Welcome back to my animal education series. Today I want to tell you guys about one of the most industrious of all animals, the North American beaver. So the North American beaver is the second largest rodent, second only to the capybara. And these are amazing animals that are actually considered keystone species in their environments. These animals actually change the environment to suit their needs and preferences, and their work that they do to change the environment ends up benefiting all sorts of different species. Now you may be wondering how they do this. Once the males reach sexual maturity, they'll move out of their family ponds and find an area of their own. Once they find an area that suits them, which is typically a stream that flows year-round, then they'll start clearing trees and shrubs and piling them in the stream to help block it up and start their dam. Here's a good example of a beaver and their building skills provided by the Oregon Zoo. As they continue to pile up small trees and shrubs onto their structure, they will then use mud and wet vegetation to fill in the spaces between the branches. At that point, the water will get backed up and start to spread out, and at that point, the beaver will continue to spread the dam to the sides to hold in all that water. Then the small pond, that he started to build up will become a larger pond for himself. The beaver will continue to remove small trees and shrubs from around his pond at all times. Once he has his pond set up, he will then move on to the lodge portion. The lodge is quite an impressive structure within itself and is built in a similar fashion to the dam itself, with small trees, shrubs, and then packed together with mud. These lodges are, as I mentioned, really impressive, and they have typically two entrances. Both of these entrances are underwater, so the beaver can slide in and out without being eaten by a predator, and also, with them being underwater, it prevents predators from going inside of the structure to eat the beaver's family. That's not fun. But these beavers are pretty safe underwater, but when they're caught on land, they fall prey to wolves, coyotes, bobcats, cougars, and bears. As the pond continues to grow, other species of animals begin to experience the benefits of the beaver's work. It becomes a safe place for waterfowl and becomes wetlands for muskrats, otters, raccoons, snapping turtles, fish, ospreys, deer, elk, moose, and various pond turtles. When these beavers are found in areas with cold winter weather, what they'll go out and do is they'll collect a bunch of their favorite branches, bring them into the water, and then stick them in the mud as a kind of larder. Throughout the winter, they'll go down and grab their favorite branches out of the mud, take them up to the lodge, and eat them. Sometimes these beavers will even go out and build canals to their favorite feeding spots. These beavers are perfectly adapted to this lifestyle, as you can see here in this video clip from the Ochsner Park Zoo. They have round, stout bodies, front feet that are kind of like hands, webbed back feet, chiseled teeth, and a wide, flat tail, which I think is probably the most predominant feature. These tails serve many purposes as a really good rudder. They carry mud back to the lodge or to the dam, and then they warn other animals of predators in the area. If you guys have ever belly flopped into a pool or body of water, or taken a paddle and slapped water really hard and a really big sound, kind of sounds like a really loud. That's what they do. They will do that multiple times on the surface of the water and make a really loud sound to either scare off a predator or to warn all the other animals in the nearby area. As I mentioned earlier, these beavers eat vegetation, primarily young tree bark. By eating limbs and tree bark, they will wear down their teeth, so it prevents them from growing too large. In zoos, you'll typically see these animals provided with carrots, yams, and other root vegetables to prevent their teeth from growing too big. Beavers live in monogamous pairs, and the offspring will typically live with them for several years until the males are sexually mature and they'll move off to establish their own territories. The gestation period for these beavers is typically around 100 days, and the females will typically have 3 to 4 kids at a time, and both the male and the female will take part in raising these kids. The North American beaver is found all over North America and is listed by the IUCN as least concern. Male beavers will mark their territory with piles of mud, debris, and their castor, which is extruded from their castor glands. In the 17th century, beavers were sought after for their fur and their castor. Their fur is extremely weather and water resistant and was used to make warm hats. As the Eurasian beaver population began to decline, trappers moved from Europe to North America to pursue the North American beaver. As fur trapping and trading continued, the North American populations began to decline as well. Once North America started to put regulations on beaver trapping and trading, then the population started to increase to the current IUCN status. Beavers have come in conflict over time with people, as when they build their dams they tend to flood farmers' fields, orchards, roads, and recreational areas. Also, it can be quite devastating when a beaver's dam bursts and releases all of that water. That's a lot of water. That would really suck, gotta be honest here. But hunting and trapping efforts have been put in place to regulate the beaver population and to help prevent this, and to relocate problem beavers into a new area. But thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. Don't forget to leave a big thumbs up down below, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I'll see you next week.